And that learning is all about three things. We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Bayes University Hospital offers a range of specialized services equipped with the latest technology, manned by a team of trusted professionals. And now, our vision extends beyond our walls with the Baba Ahmed University in Kano following our lead. Join us at Bayes University and invest in your future today.
Bayes University is the institution that you will get the best value for money education in Nigeria.
Bayes University. Learn to live.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. The Nigerian Labour Congress says it will press for 250,000 naira minimum wage during a planned meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House today. The head of public affairs of the Congress, Benson Ukpa, stated that Labour would insist on its 250,000 naira proposal during the session with the president. Labour leaders were invited to a meeting with the president in furtherance of Tinubu's promise to hold more consultations with stakeholders on the minimum wage. President Bola Tinubu has approved a gathering of African descendants in Abuja. The event, scheduled for October 2024, is expected to draw over 2,000 participants from across the globe. The homecoming event, organized by the African Descendants in Diaspora Union in partnership with the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, aims to strengthen ties between Nigeria and its diaspora community. The Supreme Court has granted financial autonomy to local governments across the country by disconnecting the payment of their allocation from their respective state governments. The Apex Court, in its pronouncement in a lawsuit filed by the federal government against the 36 state governments, ordered the federal government to henceforth pay allocation meant for the 774 local governments directly to their respective accounts. House of Representatives Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development and the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, were engaged in an open confrontation at the investigative hearing into the alleged diversion of 1.5 billion naira contract funds. Reports say that the committee had summoned Kennedy to appear before it and explain the whereabouts of the money already released. However, a drama ensued when the committee asked the minister to give account of how monies meant for contractors paid by the Accountant General's office were expended. In her response, Kennedy Ohaneye said though 30% of the total sum meant for contractors was paid to her ministry, she cannot give account of how it was expended because the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, had advised her to mind her business. You're watching Midday News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When Midday News returns, Supreme Court grants financial autonomy to local governments. These and other stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Oh, that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers! Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharona J as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momadou on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely, we are definitely because
that this country gets it right.
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Global More.
Welcome back. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. On the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden will give his first press conference since his debate disaster against Donald Trump in a pressure cooker moment that could seal the fate of his re-election bid. The eyes of the world will be on the 81-year-old at the NATO summit as he tries to calm growing calls from his Democratic Party to step aside over his age and health. The White House has dubbed it a big boy conference, and Biden will be under severe pressure to show he can handle what has become a rare unscripted moment in his presidency. The Israeli military has told all residents of Gaza City to evacuate south of to the central Gaza Strip amid intensified operations in the north. Leaflets dropped by aircraft instruct everyone in Gaza City to leave what is described as a dangerous combat zone via designated safe routes, marked as two roads that lead to shelters in Dar al-Bala and al-Zawada. The United Nations has said it is deeply concerned about evacuation orders being given. It is the second time since the war began that Gaza City as a whole has been asked to evacuate. Over the past 2 weeks, Israeli forces have re-entered several districts where the military believes Hamas and Palestinian Islamic jihadist fighters have regrouped since the start of the year. Hamas has said Israel's renewed act. In business, the United States Agency for International Development and the Federal Ministry of Power signed a memorandum of understanding to secure Nigeria's commitment to electricity sector reforms, market transparency, liquidity, and expanding access to affordable power. Both parties announced this in a statement issued in Abuja by the Power Ministry. The understanding was signed by the U.S. agency and Nigerian Mission Director Melissa Jones and the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Power, Mahamuda Maman, to support the implementation of 115.2 billion naira U.S. government grant-funded technical assistance program intended to support power sector development and reforms in Nigeria. Nigerians have appealed to the federal government to evolve a means of putting an end to the continuous and habitual increase in food prices. This is coming on the heels of the ongoing food crisis affecting the daily lives of many Nigerians. Global TV's Queen Agaba, who went on a market survey, now brings us details.
Inflation and economic challenges have driven up the prices of basic food items. As a result, millions of Nigerians are experiencing food insecurity, with many struggling to afford and access the nutritious food necessary for a healthy life. Conducting a market survey with emphasis on comparing prices from what it was to what it is now, traders lament the rising food prices disrupted supply chains, and many economic challenges that make feeding and doing business difficult.
Things are very expensive. Even before, you can buy gari 200 naira, mudu 200 or 150, but now gari is 1,500 naira. I don't know what this country is happening. Even sugar, now even to feed is the problem to us. Even our children, even school fees. What is happening in this country? Things are very expensive. Even before, you can buy gari 200 naira, mudu 200 or 150, but now gari is 1,500 naira. I don't know what this country is happening. Even sugar, now even to feed is the problem to us. Even mangi now, mangi they are selling before 10, 15 naira, sometimes 5, 20 naira, but now one mangi is 120 naira. Everything are very expensive. Before, you can buy meat 300 naira. You can buy 500 naira. Now you cannot buy even meat 300 or 500 naira or 1,000 naira.
Price of cow now is increasing all the time. Cow we used to buy 500,000 before. Now we buy cow 1.2 million, 1.3 million to kill. And one cage is 6,000 naira each one cage now. And our customers are complaining.
Traders beckon on the government to pay urgent attention and coordinated efforts to mitigate its impact on the vulnerable population.
Look at fuel now. As they increase it every month, our president said we should have patience. He will do something. We are wanting to see what he's doing. Rather, he's increasing the fuel every blessed day. Imagine gari, poor man food. I didn't know whether our president are eating gari or what. Why the gari is so high like that? By this hour, we are buying gari 1,500 for a mudu. So a time will reach now, a cup will be 1,500.
Before we sell vegetable an amount of 50 naira, now from 50 naira to 100 naira, from 100 naira to 200, which is not fair. If you notice now, a price of spaghetti is now high. Before, a price of spaghetti was 14,000, 13,000. Now you cannot even afford it in that short amount again.
Nigerian traders are calling on the federal government to take proactive measures to curb food crisis in the country, particularly unregulated prices and some economic policies biting hard and greatly affected by many. For Global Television,
the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it will make an official announcement when it is ready to take the earlier reported $2 billion crude-backed loan. The company's group chief executive officer, Mele Kyari, noted that NNPC Limited is in talks for another oil-backed loan to boost its finances and allow investment in its business. The chief corporate communications officer of the company, Olufemi Soneye, said the national oil firm would make an official announcement anytime the company is ready to proceed with the deal. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has announced its intention to cancel the certificates of incorporation of Bureau de Change, whose licenses were revoked by the Central Bank of Nigeria earlier this year. In a notice on its website, the Commission said the certificates would be cancelled within 3 months if the affected companies do not change the names and objects of such companies. The African Petroleum Producers Organization has urged member countries to fulfill their financial obligations towards establishing the $5 billion African Energy Bank. Last week, Nigeria secured the hosting rights for the African Energy Bank, which will be located in Abuja, the nation's capital. To ensure the bank's operationalization, the organization's Secretary General, Dr. Omar Ibrahim, called on African oil-producing member countries to contribute their subscription fees of $83 million, aiming for the bank's launch in September 2024. And in sport, Bayern Munich secured the signing of Portugal midfielder João Palhinha from Fulham for a reported fee of €49 million after coming close to acquiring him last year. The 28-year-old, who spent 2 years at Fulham after arriving from Sporting Lisbon in 2022 for €22 million, signed a 4-year contract. Bayern had been poised to sign Bahinha. In 2023, the defensive midfielder had even posed in the club's trip, but the deal fell through just before the transfer window closed when Fulham failed to find a replacement. Liverpool star Darwin Núñez and other Uruguayan players were involved in a brawl with Colombian fans. The brawl erupted after their 1-0 Copa America semi-final defeat. Uruguay striker Núñez unleashed a fury of punches at Colombian supporters after jumping into the spectators sitting at the Charlotte Bank of America Stadium following an ill-tempered loss to Colombia. LeBron James and Steph Curry made a winning start as U.S. teammates in an 86-72 victory over Canada in a pre-Olympics exhibition game in Las Vegas. The two NBA superstars are part of a formidable U.S. basketball roster that will be chasing a fifth straight gold medal when the Paris Olympics get underway this month. James and Curry are playing alongside each other for the first time as international teammates and showed glimpses of a near telepathic understanding during the game. Curry finished with 12 points while James had 7 as the U.S. recovered from an early 11-1 deficit to cruise to victory in their final game at home before Paris. That's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu. Thank you for watching.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas,